now tuned in to IntellectualRadio.com. This is ExCons for the number 4 Trump. ExCon for Trump. And I have a special guest today, along with my man Crow from the Go. And this is Miss Tamiko Holt. I'm going to tell y'all a little something about her, but I want to introduce her first. Tamiko Holt, 28th Ward Committee woman for the Republican Party. I'm going to say it again. Because y'all always talking about it like, ain't no black women, and I don't see black women Republican, right? This a whole committee woman for the 28th Ward. And when you think of 28th Ward, you think of Jason Irvin's ward, Alderman Jason Irvin. So we got Tamiko Holt in the building, and I'm gonna give her alley-oop in a few minutes, but I want to just say, there's so much going on in the city. Politics, just listening to the division. See, one thing I know, polls lie. And when I'm looking at these polls, here's a woman just jumped out the tree. All of a sudden, she wanted to be in front of Donald Trump. But just about everybody that I meet or everybody that I've met are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party because of inactivity, lack of respect for their voters, and consistent disinvestment in our communities. So I don't know what poll they're reading and looking at, because just about everybody I've encountered in the neighborhoods, and if we galvanize the vote, they're gonna feel it, are against the Democratic Party and this new selection of Miss Harris, whatever her name is, Miss Harris. And I'm telling y'all right now, they're lying. They're lying because I have family members that's not voting for the Democratic Party, and they've said what I've said. If Mickey Mouse was running, if Donald Duck was running, if Daffy Duck was running, and Miss Piggy was running, I'm voting for them. Because we got to at some point get out this slave mentality that vote blue no matter who. This is what's happening with our community. I don't care. You can't rationalize. I don't got to rationalize it. And all I got to do is say I can prove at no limit of time for 60 years, this party, we're backwards, that our communities look worse than when we first started this crap. So with that being said, I want to welcome Tamiko Holt to the Intellectual Radio and the ExCons4Trump live podcast. Welcome, Tamiko. And if you will, I would like you looking at camera and tell the people about you and why did you decide to run as a Republican for the committee woman spot of the 28th Ward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamiko Holt, Holt. I'm the 28th Ward Republican committee woman. I grew up in public housing, transferred over to Section 8, and just transitioned from the subsidized housing space in 2021. I was on a resident leadership team for Chicago Housing Authority for over 10 years. I started a business, Okie Mac Construction Corp. I'm a carpenter by trade. And up under the tenure of Eugene Jones, we started over 113 businesses in that space. We fought Chicago Housing Authority to get them up on the investigation for violating Section 3. I've done a lot. I've been around a lot. I've been in the background doing a lot of advocating for my people. So let's understand that I come from the at-risk population, and I'm not going to ever let anyone forget that and try to play past that, because that's the population that you've been dumbing down for years.
Yep.
You've been undereducating our people in that space. All you cared about was a voter block, a voter base that you can control. And I watched over the years what has been taking place in that space. And once I started studying it, getting outside of it and studying it, I started to see and uncover a lot. So that's who I am. And yes, I'm on this side of the fence, because you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. They have been They've been pretty much playing on our emotions and different things for a bunch of years and have us so just like we're talking about now, not a lot about race. We're not even talking we're not even talking about policies. We're not even talking about the issues that plague our communities, but we back and forth about this. And you look up, it's going to be November.
Yeah.
And nobody is laying out the facts. I'm 52 years old. No one has been in control of where I stay at the communities I've stayed in, but the Democratic Party. And that's all I have to. My community's always been blighted, lack of resources, a bunch of poverty pimping with the social service agency. So we're going to go down the rabbit hole and we're going to peel back the layers. Yeah. I'm ready.
So with that being said, and I guess as we move on, Crow will chime in. But with that being said, I look at our women, right? Black women. Because they've been pimped the most. To a point where I don't even think they know how to be anything other but pimped. Whether it's the pastors, whether it's politicians, and whether it's some tri-pimp for real. It seems like that's all we know how to accept is being pimped.
Hold on
no, that's all right. I mean, I love that.
We gonna talk about the
I love
that.
Too. No, that's what I'm saying. Some dry pimp for real. But I'm saying no. I'm only mentioning it because you're a black woman, and I see a lot of black women. We don't even vote. Some of us as black men, we don't even go. We got attitude. We got egos. We got a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't even show up at the polls a lot of times. Our voting base is very small. We stay home because we ain't had nothing to vote for because we've been systemically marginalized. All I'm saying is I see a lot of black women saying we are fools for messing with the Republicans. And if you could tell your sister that's watching, and that's why I said, as I've seen you in this space as a leader, even in the space of where men are, you've been given your force and guidance. So if you could tell black women, because I'm free. I'm gonna say what I want to say and do what I want to do. I'm in a democracy, I thought. Why should they think different about the choices they making now in this upcoming election?
So you have to think about over the years what we've been taught. We've been taught to value ourselves less. We've been taught the price of value of different, even with doing service and contracting. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the real numbers of things and what it looks like. So we don't know the price and the cost that's what's happening upon our community for the choices that we make. Because we've been taught, I'm worried about me, I, and nothing about generational wealth, nothing about making sure my child has a quality education because we didn't have anything else to measure it up against. So you need to understand that. If we had something else to gauge it against, the playing field would be totally different. But because we come from this space, most of us come from this space. I'm not talking about the ones who feel like they have arrived until they get their black moment. Okay, we're going to leave that there because now black is some of everything. I don't understand it now, but I know I'm descendants of slave black. That's the only black that I'm talking about. So when you look at it from that standpoint, nobody know the price of anything. Nobody even know the price of the decisions that you're making that is going to pretty much shape your future. You have so many of us talking about, I'm not into the politics. Sweetheart, it governs your life. Right. It governs the quality of life that you have for the decisions that you make when you go to that poll.
But whether they are part of politics or not, somebody say, I ain't gonna vote for Harris or Biden. So what? You still gonna be affected by Harris, Trump. You're still gonna be affected. So you don't have to vote. Stay home, be a fool. Look at TV, play video games. The milk gonna go up, the gas gonna go up, your rent gonna go up, your community gonna be marginalized, and you're gonna continue to be in a position where you don't know what's going on, as what you just said. We don't know the price of not voting. So Go, you got anything you want to ask to Miko?
I'm just it's a pleasure to be in a room with you, sister.
Well, thank you.
Mean, I'm just like my mother was a Christian pastor, and I was taught as a child when grown folks are talking, be quiet. And I think you and brother Muhammad tonight, y'all the grown folks in the room, and y'all can cover everything that I think we need to hear. So I'm just gonna be quiet and sit and let you run the show, mommy. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for coming. I think our community needs to see you. It needs to hear your voice. It's always impactful when a melanated Black American male hears a woman speak with intelligence and with heart and with passion and fire. The only thing I could do is just get out the way and protect you if you need my help. So,
and let me add, with a GED.
It don't matter.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm making.
It don't matter. Intelligence is given from the Most High.
Yeah, because I definitely read and I comprehend very well.
And with that being said, I'm going to open the phone lines up for you all to ask Tamiko a question about her office, what does it entails, and that's 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. The phone lines are open for you to ask Tamiko a question about what it is that she do or does as the 28th Ward Republican Committee woman. Somebody got me dropped. But listen, I thank y'all for tuning in. And Tamiko and I, last week before last, they asked her, how did they treat me down at the Republican convention? Great. Tamiko, we made a lot of friends, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Tamiko was that we
Yes,
made
we
a
did.
lot of friends down there. We went in. Tamiko, I don't know if you can pull that.
New allies.
Yeah, new allies. Listen, this myth of them not liking Black folks and they racist crap. Man, listen, let me say this here. I've been offered more opportunities. I'm saying opportunity to do business or work, with those people than I have ever been offered in terms of the Democratic Party or individuals that say they Democrat. And we hold, when you think about Chicago, Tamiko, that every position, from the lieutenant governor to the county board president, all the way to the police chief, to the state's attorney, to the mayor. I don't know how many. You probably have a better idea. Is it 14, 16 Black aldermen? How many is it?
I don't know.
It's something like that, right? But we know we got about the same number of Black state reps. We have state senators, about the same number.
In Illinois, I think around in the United States, we have the most.
We have the most in Illinois. Chicago and Illinois have per capita the most Black elected officials. And here we are talking about Trump. See, all politics is local. They keep us focusing on this national agenda while they're carving us up locally. So when you think of the powers that the Republican Party could have if they only recognize the disinvestment and the dissatisfaction of Black communities, have you been able to tell them, like as a committee woman, like they missing the boat, they're dropping the ball on our community?
So you have to remember, so we're waving through the noise now, right? So we're establishing ourselves. I can't say for the ones that came before the new ones that's here now. But I do believe in you have to teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So that's in any space. And how you come in the door is how you will forever be played. So with that being said, we're all pretty much getting used to one another.
Are you saying get used like the Republicans getting to see that Black folks have a thought other than some Black folk have a thought other than just Democrat?
So that, and that some of us pretty much have a thought process of being problem solvers. We can bring up the problem, but we don't have no solutions to the problems in a lot of cases. And so we like I said, we're getting used to one another.
So when you look at our sisters out here, and because I always say sisters, because oftentimes they're left with the babies that are most victimized and with our birth defects and mortality rates for our immortality rates for our children, mortality rates, they are more marginalized, they are harmed more, they are victimized more, although they are more educated now. I don't necessarily think the education translate into political understanding.
Okay, so let's do this. You can have a traditional education and be pretty much taught in a traditional learning institution, but common sense don't come along with that. You can also pretty much have a college degree in whatever space or field you in and still be a C student. You still get the same degree as an A student.
That's true.
So let's be very clear about that, so you can't get caught up on that. You have a lot of people that's self-taught that has went a lot further.
Yes.
Than people can even imagine.
Absolutely.
So, but with that being said, you also have we have a lot of trauma that has not been dealt with. The black men and the black women alike, the black family. And I'm so tired of this black men and black women. Ain't no separate. We need to be about the black family. That's where we get it misunderstood. Because if it's not you, you still have pretty much had offsprings, and your offsprings are going to have offsprings. And if you don't have offsprings, you have little cousins and little nieces and nephews that you need to concern yourself with about their future. And that's where we get lost in everything. We get lost in the noise, and they play off our emotions. We have to stop that, and we have to bring it back to the policies and the facts, and not what we would like it to be. We paint these rosy pictures, even though people are telling us exactly what they're going to do. Yep. That's why I'm not mad at a bunch, because they're telling us exactly what they're going to do in some cases, in most cases, and we go along because they play the race card, and they pretty much play on our emotions.
Tactics, like
scared. No, so you just call it scare tactics. We're actually being bullied. We're actually being bullied when it comes to our constitutional rights.
Y'all here?
Bullied.
Because you know what?
And we too strong for our own good.
I saw that, right? I said that when I first saw it, I said they violating our constitutional right. First of all, I think over 200 and some million voted for Joe Biden or more. It seemed like 50 or so delegates. They didn't ask the over 250 million or more people that voted for Joe Biden how they feel about Kamala Harris. They decided, Obama and his cronies and all of them, Nancy Pelosi and them, and all of the games that they played, they work in. They decided that Joe Biden not gonna cut it. Now, this the same memory loss. This the same old man. This the same person they voted in, knowing that he had potential onset dementia or he couldn't remember his name some days. They knew that when they ran him. Now the people made the choice that Joe Biden would be our president. Openly in our face said, you know what? We're going to remove them, and we're going to put our person who we think can best beat Donald Trump up and see how that works for us. We're going to select the person because they the bullies. They put that woman in your face, and they selected it without you having a choice.
Democracy took a backseat.
Yes.
So let's bring it back to that. Democracy took a backseat.
So they should have did a new election then. They should have lined up. They should have selected who they thought they wanted. They get to do that. But then there should have been other candidates running that the people say, hey, and they should have had a quick debate. Like, I would think that's how you do democracy and say, which choice do you all want? But they selected her.
That's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's been going. I don't know when they change, the process. I didn't
even know you can remove a president.
This is my thing. But you know what?
I didn't know.
And this is the truth. So, and even though it was the vice president, but have you ever watched House of Cards?
I haven't watched.
You need to watch it. I think it's season 4. It told you exactly what was going to happen. It told you exactly what we were living in now. But it was the vice president position versus the president position, but they did it. So, but what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't think that this was pre-planned?
House of Cards, that the one with his wife?
Yes.
And she took over.
I think his name is Kevin somebody.
Spacey. Oh, I saw that. I think okay, I saw that. I think Tracy brought me up to speed to that. I remember that, but it's a new season now.
I don't know if it's a new season, but I remember. I
thought it was
out
over
of that
with.
playbook.
Did he die or he get murdered?
It is over with, but I'm saying that I remember this scenario that we're going through now out of that playbook that they pretty much aired. Right. About 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying to you is we're just caught up in the here and the now. They pre-planned things. They knew exactly what was going to happen and how it was going to go because they knew that was the only way it was going to happen. What we have to do is deal with what's in front of us.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, everything that we deal with is big bank take little bank. And we can't control our politics because they know that they won't give us access to the capital to do so. And we ain't asking you for no. We done started businesses. You keep your foot in our necks here on purpose. Instead of doing things the honest way, but you like the tagline or the perception, oh, we lazy, we don't want to do nothing. No, you need to stop the social service pimping. Yeah, that's what you need to stop, right?
They do it in every space, even violence prevention.
And it is happening in every state. Yeah. But what we have to understand is, you see how you just said that so cavalier and coy?
Yeah.
We should not be cavalier and coy about that. We should be calling for forensic audits because we're being used as a human capital.
Say that again. What does a forensic audit entails, and why do you think that's going to work if the same people in charge are the Democrats who can determine? There's no independent party, is it, for forensic audit? And it is still a part of the government?
Independent audits calls for independent investigators, but it is the steps that take place in a forensic audit because they look at everything. They even go knock on people's doors that you have these files for while you round tabling and signing names and saying, hey, how you doing? We come to ask you some questions. Is your name such and such and such? Yeah. Have you ever received services from this organization? Yes or no? And if you did, what did you receive as far as services? What happened? What took place? Talk to us, right? And if you didn't, they know that they got a hot file. And once again, it pretty much opens up a can of worms. And then you go to counting the money on how many times you done did that, how many years you've been doing that, and you open up a whole drain the swamp switch situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard that term in a long time, but drain the swamp. And I've been sitting back and I've been looking at this for a long time. Remember, I grew up in a space where a bunch of social services was happening, but we weren't moving the needle because we don't get what you think is happening.
Yeah.
So, and then besides, it's a known fact that 95% of that money that's given is going to salaries and contracts that have to do with the space.
Absolutely.
And you have a whole demographic that you have to help, right? And you have a client target number that you have to reach. How is that even possible? The math doesn't even work.
Right. And it shows up in our community. It's not you, right? It was like, what would be the need of the forensic audit when we could look at our community and see that it really, truthfully, but I guess for a paper trail to be able to prove that. So who has the power to bring forth a forensic audit? Who
pass? So you don't just look at what our community looks at. Like we need to look at our people that's being serviced.
Mm-hmm.
That technically is supposed to be pretty much partaking in these services.
Right.
They have certificates, training certificates stacked up to the wazoo, never going into a viable, space to work. And these trainings that they get, they don't have no workforce to go into with gainful employment. Nobody is talking about this. Nobody is raising, even with that, everything has a line item when you contracting, right?
Yeah.
So you got to look at the line items that they pretty much are taken from. And because they used to our people being undereducated, they don't know that, some of us see you.
Yeah. So It's interesting that you talk, and all we have to do is follow the money. For us again, or the listening audience, you can call in and be a part of the conversation at 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. Call in, be a part of the conversation, and we would love to hear from you. Um, I'm I'm still puzzled because when I look at it, Tamika, from the position of ex-cons for Trump as a form of agitation and a form of freedom. See, that's what I see this as, right? You running for 28th Ward committee woman, I see that as a form of freedom. And why I say that? Because the traditional landscape of things, the traditional thought processes, the social engineering of our minds towards the vote is to be other than is to be wrong to be other than the Democratic Party or vote that narrative, right? So when we say ex-cons for Trump, people automatically assume that we agree with Trump in every place or every space. Because I don't agree with Democrats on every place, and I voted for them traditionally. But what we're saying is you don't have a monopoly on our vote. And if we don't push against the Democratic Party, and I ask you this question to me, do you think they would change? And I already know you've been to light it up and go in. I know the answer to it. Do you think they would change if we didn't push a different way?
Have they changed in all of this time? So we have a situation to whereas an agenda has not even been laid out to us about the things that you pretty much are going to do or you have every intentions on doing if you pretty much take this space.
Yeah.
They don't feel that they have. Here we are. What's this? This August. We got what, 3 more months?
Yeah.
They don't feel they have to.
I haven't seen a real agenda at all.
They don't feel they have to because they play. Do you know we're studied?
Absolutely.
Do you know that there is a study on culture, how we move, how we think, how to play on our emotions and all of that? And every play is being ran right now in the playbook.
Yes.
And with this, and this is the thing that pretty much gets me. They continue to run the same plays every time.
And we see it coming. You know what? You just raised an interesting point. You know how mad? No, you know what? I think something wrong with us.
Something wrong with you, ain't that?
No, something wrong with us. Cause I'm gonna show you. No, listen to me. Let me explain it to you. The lovable losers, Cubs. The lovable losers, Bears. Year after year. Year after year. This is how we look at the emotion. So say if your thing is not politics, but your thing is sports.
My thing is not politics.
No. This is what I'm saying. That's my favorite team. Year after year, you argue and you fuss about what decisions the coach didn't make and why we didn't get this person in the draft, but we never change the team. We never change our team. And I got to believe that our people are like, it's like they got a sports team. I think they don't see it in terms of wealth, resources, policies, and economics. Our people don't see it. I don't see they see it. We got to make them see it in terms of if you don't change quarterbacks, if you don't fire coaches, if you don't do this, how do you ever expect to win?
Do you know what it is to be in an abusive relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Democrat.
So
yeah, I do.
There is a like a Stockholm syndrome,
right?
So, but we don't think that that's real. So we never had the chance to have, and even for the ones of us that pretty much our family didn't believe in that. It's a therapy. We've been traumatized. We've been in an abusive relationship. So this is what you're seeing. But nobody wants to own it because we don't want to look weak. But every day that we go and we continue to allow the same behavior when dealing with us to happen, we let these people know that, hey, our name is welcome and we're a mat on the floor. So this is with anybody.
Black people, you are
this
a mat.
Is business.
You are a mat on the floor. Matter of fact, they need to rub the dirt. They're going to keep rubbing the dirt, the snow, the rain, the sleet, the hail on that mat.
No, I'm not going for that one. So, and this is why you have people like me that's pretty much rising up.
You know what? You brainwashed. You like to be abused. You listen. I'm going to try to go all the narrative they said about me or anybody that actually changed their mind. You know what you is? You hate yourself. And as a black woman, you should be ashamed not to vote for a black woman.
Okay, so let's be very clear. I didn't adhere to peer pressure coming up as a child. Yeah. So I didn't, and just some peer pressure as when you get older, it was certain peer pressures that, okay, you tease me.
No, you
whatever.
Got paid. The Republican Party paying you. Clearly they paying you. Because clearly they paying you because you running with Trump now. You got crumbs. You getting paid to do this.
So let's do this. Do you remember the days of real organizing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna take it back to the basics. Now, this position doesn't pay anything, right?
Y'all hear?
But at the end of the day, this is an official position to organize in. And if anything else, we need our voices heard. Not just heard, we need some movement on the plights that we're having. And I don't care what side. If you over here, the Democrats, if you're not trying to hear us and you think it's okay and we should be grateful just because you call on us and we run and that's good enough, by everybody else stepping over us and using us as a springboard, I'm going on the other side to see if we can put some balance to this. Wow. And I suggest that a lot of us think in that manner. Because all of us on one side of the ship
it's sinking. That's the problem. And I'm telling you.
Shall we get into the illegal immigrants?
Go. Let's go. Get on them. Please,
please
get in that.
Here we are. We've been here, and this is not been asking. We have been advocating and demanding the resources to help us grow economically. Not telling you to pretty much, you know what I'm saying, coddle us and keep holding our hand. Just give us that lift up. And here you just laid it out. How do you think we're supposed to feel about that?
That's war to me. I think they openly said, y'all can die and it's cool with us. Y'all can kill each other. You can continue to be marginalized in our face. They actually every year drop an atomic bomb. Every election drops an atomic bomb on our community. And then Then they drop paperwork like leaflets to say, hey, if you don't want the bombs dropped, take cover over here. While dropping bombs and dropping food. They drop bombs on us and drop food at the same time.
Do you know how many overdoses that we have yearly amongst our young adults and our children?
I know a lot.
Exactly. That right there should tell us something that we're pretty much not getting. And they had the nerve to use drug money, the line item of the drug.
The drug money. That is cold.
No, but when you leave Chicago,
that is cold.
And on First Avenue, when you come off the expressway, they have public service announcement signs telling you, hey, don't go to Chicago and buy whatever. I don't see any of that in our community. I don't see any of this wording or advertisement or advocating to tell our people that, hey, this is the dangers of what's the things you're getting off the street and don't try. So all of these things we have to look at and ponder, like, yeah, that is something there. Like, why is that? We don't get it. We have pretty much allowed these people to pretty much elevate themselves to king and queen status, and they think we
So
supposed to
why
kiss
do
the
the
ring.
elected officials? So you here, like if I say, hey, Tamika, I don't think you do X, Y, and Z as an elected official. Why is it that they act like they socialites? Like the people do not have nothing to say to them. Like, don't talk to me. And if you say something to me, I'm gonna punish you because I am Queen Elizabeth or King Richard or something.
Because we've allowed it. We ushered that in. They take a picture and all that, and turkey ham and the song and the dance.
Take a picture.
You know, so but at the same time, how this also got ushered in, the ones that we trusted the most, like my parents that came before me, they trusted the most, that they looked up as they hero. They could be pastors, they could have been self-appointed community leaders, all of that. So, and it started a chain reaction that we cannot get away from.
You know what I just saw? Al Sharpton. I saw a flyer with Al Sharpton. I think my man from WVON and a few others from Matt McGill, all of them going to Christ Brazier's church for a part of the convention. Mm-hmm. See, this is what I hate. The Constitution says separation of church and state, right? If Tyrone Muhammad used ECCSC as a tool to push political agenda, they'll remove my 501c3 status. They will take my 501c3 status because I'm not playing in the Democratic agenda. But pastors all over the country and all over the city can invite their parishioners to sow to the polls. See, I often say, and I'm going to say it loud and clear, because one day I was in the church and one of the persons said something, an elected official, and I cussed. I said, you're a goddamn lie. I owe $1. They said, this is a church. I said, it ain't a church. I said, when you open your church up to politics and community engagement, this is no longer a temple of God because y'all changing money. This is now a money-changing institution. So when they call these people, whenever you see the pastors that they use or churches that they use to speak to the people, because the people give them God status, Jesus status, prophet status, they are your enemy. I'm going to say it again. Whenever the Democratic Party or Republican Party or Green or Libertarian or Independent use churches and institutions of God to propagate political agendas, they are your enemy. They are already bought and paid for.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure the parishioners, they know if they pastors wearing Louis Vuitton and they ain't got no jobs, and but they're pretty much 1 or 2 payments away from being homeless or can't pay their mortgage to own the status of being homeless. And so if you know, so at some point in time, and hear me out, that how do I put this? In that instance, we can't keep blaming, because at the end of the day, now I want to ask you this. I don't think that they could be that blatantly straight out just pretty much accepting payment. Now, I do think that there's monetary gain some other type of way, but you just saying straight out being paid.
Get up closer to the mic.
Well, I hate to bring this up, but what was the pastor that was from Roseland that had the church and was a senator?
Meeks. Same thing.
Yeah, because
he opened that. He's Pastor Meeks.
Because I remember when we were in college. That's what I call prison. I call it college. Because for me it was a university of higher learning. But I remember his program used to come on Sundays. Don't you remember they had
while we watched that prison?
Yeah, they had
we watched in college.
We had a live broadcast that came to the institution that we was at on TV, and I was like, are they mixing religion and state
Yes,
together?
because he was
that's
a
not,
senator.
yeah, you're
And,
not supposed to do that.
we, even when the churches come into the prisons, they're often appointed to be the very few, but the big ones like the Mother Yorks and our sister Helen Sinclair, bless her soul, all these beautiful people, they was with Jesse and them. They was with as a movement that allowed them to come in there to propagate religion, Christianity, not Islam. You remember the stuff we had to go through just to get an imam, or if a more science brother wanted to speak, if an African Hebrew Israelite brothers wanted to institute the religion,
Yeah, it was pretty
they
hard.
couldn't get in as long as they was Christians.
Shout out to Nidra Chandler
You
real
see
quick,
what I'm
'cause she
saying?
opened up the door.
Yeah, long as they was Christians,
Yeah.
they allowed them to come in because they was a part of the democratic establishment and institution.
And she changed a lot. And that was a black woman. The warden at our institution at Dixon. Shout out to Nidra Chandler. She was a black woman. And
So she tried to make sure all denominations
she
had
made
their
sure
program
that
and
she
religion.
changed a lot. And I'm gonna say that always.
So when they were coming in, what was the benefit to you all?
It would for us, not for me. I didn't care because we create. But to the brothers that went to those churches, in case of Mother York, they got some chicken. They got a piece of chicken and some pie.
Well,
hey, listen, bro. I'm not saying they didn't get spirituality, because the recidivism rate shows me that spirituality wasn't the primary thing that them brothers got. I wanted to get out of. I wasn't a Christian, but I wanted to get out the cell. Because that fixed, I wanted to interact with outsiders. I wanted to feel like I was free. But ultimately, after you do all that hooping and hollering and clapping, go your ass right back in that 9x12 cell.
And even with with the inhumane treatment, did they help with that?
No. Now, I'm not saying they didn't have a voice, but the groups that were supposed to, like John Howard Association, got usurped by the system, because now they're beholden to the state to even have permission to come in. But they supposed to have been an independent group that watched the treatment and mistreatment. But then they got usurped. Then they stopped fighting for the return ex-cons. They stopped fighting for convicts, and they started being political. Now everybody's chasing grant money, and so that they can feed their administration no thirst. And now the services and the disinvestment, hence COVID, and how all them brothers died in prison because COVID, because what was going on. Nobody monitored, checked on those brothers. And even today, Stateville, the water we was drinking, we have every prison, we was drinking radon water. Joliet, Menard, Stateville, we drink. I drunk so much of that water, I probably got cancer in the bone somewhere. I'm just telling you, they poisoning us in the water, in the food, and everything. So they didn't speak on that. They really didn't make no real issue, nor do our elected officials who wards these men return back to, gave them health care to check on the issues. None of this is a systemic discrimination. So go ahead.
I want to say this by you bringing it up. I got to recruit that. Now, Willie Preston, Senator Willie Preston out of the 16th district. He is a Democrat. And he does on 79th, I forget the address. It's a building, I think 80.
Well, Willie knew, bro.
Yeah, he knew.
He ain't,
so he's fighting, but
it
is a place where you can
go. And Willie can't even move nothing. He's a novice. He's a novice, and he can't really do real systemic stuff that he would like to do. He can't do as long as them Negroes is in play.
And that's true. And I'm going to say that in his defense, he is one person that I can say is fighting against the system that I think and other people in his party are against him. That's just my opinion.
So you know what the problem is?
Yes.
We stopped believing in people power.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
We talking about Woody. He's a novelist. We've stopped believing in people power. They have what did that trick they say the devil the trick they show you that
he
God
wasn't
don't
real,
exist. That he wasn't he didn't exist.
This, yeah.
We don't realize, and we have been tricked into believing that people power is non-existent, and it is. But we have been and I know a lot of us have lost that energy to fight in us because we have been duped by people that we trusted so many times to now we don't trust and we won't come out. But we have children that are being groomed, in different spaces, in our faces. And I heard a speech or something about the VP pick, and he was saying, "Mind your business, mind your business." And I was like, "That's ironic."
Mind your business, and
we have a bunch of we have a bunch of children that parents need that should be in control of raising their children and instilling, values and things of that nature and standards. But you all in our business with our children,
right?
Exposing them to things that we don't want them exposed to at an early age. That's grooming.
Facts. That's facts.
I have a childhood too that I remember that wasn't great.
It's only one party,
and grooming. I know grooming when I see it.
It's only one party practicing grooming. I know that.
But we stay away from these subject matters when it matters when it comes to our children.
Yeah.
We don't want to touch because we've been bullied, but we are so strong to where we don't call out the bullying.
Yeah.
But the minute we speak up for ourselves, the next, person is calling us a bully because we have the nerve to talk back. Well, I'm here to say that Kinsey and Kunta can talk back.
Kunta and Kinsey can talk back.
We can read.
For you young folks, that's a root analogy. You understand?
Queen.
Don't say that.
And we can make decisions for ourselves.
Speak, Queen. I believe. I know it's facts.
Well, no, what we at, Drew? How much time we got on the board? We got 10 minutes. Listen, I want to hear from y'all, man, more than anything. If y'all got a question for the 28th Ward Committee woman, Republican Committee woman, Tamiko Holt, call in 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. I ain't do mine.
Say Holt.
Holt. I'm
Don't drop the T off.
Hey, listen.
I'm
country. I messed my own name up. I messed my own name up.
Please, if you view it, share this live.
And look, Trumpios, ex-cons for Trump, Trumpios, ex-cons for Trump. Listen, I want you mad. I want you mad at me. Since you're scared to be mad at anybody else that's been messing over you, I give you permission to be mad at me. Be mad at me. I don't care. I don't need you. I want you, but I don't need you. We just trying to wake you fools up. If you're foolish to think that you could keep voting the same way and get a different result, that is foolishness. You cannot do it. I don't care. Listen. Most people that say and talk crazy as though we doing something wrong by exercising our democracy, to the right to the vote, the right to free speech. I often say, if you can cut your worm off and say you a woman, I can say ex-cons for Trump. Yes, without any reprisal or any disrespect. See, that's the difference of having freedom and living in a country. We watch people take our resources from us right in our face, and we don't say nothing. They robbed us, took our tax dollars, took our money. Watch little JoJo and them dying in these streets from no resources, no nothing, stealing and robbing, killing you and killing each other over crumbs. While some of these doggone migrants is walking around with $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 on the doggone card.
Dude, they buying property.
They buying property. How you buying property and you're not a citizen? Now I know that's hypothetical. You make it make sense that how you can able to buy a car. That means if a dealership sell you a car, he should go to jail.
How you figure?
Or fine.
Tell me where you're at.
I don't know. I don't know why no one I take this car. A
I
lot
know-
of it got the name of the car. Now that we got the name of where this car came from.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
This is a question because I've heard about plenty of accidents
Yeah.
from illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
They're the fault of them, but they run off or they can't be prosecuted. Can you pretty much build the state in the city for that? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, they ain't do whatever they want to do. Clearly,
We don't ask these questions. You know what we don't do? We do a. So this is my thing.
No, they'll be mad at me and you for talking Republican stuff, but
So,
they
no,
won't
I'm
be
talking
mad at that.
I'm talking common sense.
No,
So I'm not talking Republican. I'm talking about a better quality of life,
yes,
economic growth. I'm tired of the economic lynching of our people,
yes.
and nobody is saying nothing. And you give. What
You
I
know
have
why they
learned,
not saying
perception
nothing.
is reality.
You know why they not.
If you
saying
market
nothing.
it enough to us
Yep.
and you said enough to us, we gonna
Yep.
start to believe it.
Yep.
I was never part of the whole group thing. Once I got free of my situation in my young adult life, I didn't look back. I did not look back. I don't care if I had.
But you know why? The very people you just mentioned, our so-called leaders that they give us, appoint for us, say that this is the right way. And I have never saw where free thinking is evil. I've never seen. Listen, when did free thinking and free speech become evil?
Slavery.
No. I don't know. These last couple of decades, something else done morphed and happened. Like seriously, no, it ain't. Yeah, something else done morphed and happened. Now you're being bullied and canceled and everything else.
Oh, cancel! I'm cancel. I'm the number one. I think I'm the number one cancer black man in America. I ain't lying. You know what? I ain't
Stop
gonna,
giving yourself so much.
No. Honestly, I think I'm the number one cancer black man in Chicago.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
What? Because I'm free.
Okay.
I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I accept the consequences. That means if I choke somebody, or I ain't gonna say the other word, I'm gonna accept the consequences of it. I'm saying they, I know a lot of people do the same thing and don't get no issues.
So, and what I'm saying to you is, there's a lot of tools in place that we don't use because we have been systematically taught to demonize those tools. Just like now at this point, what I care about writing a complaint to the Department of Justice, the AG, the IG, the CCG, anybody else that I can think of is nothing at this point, because I figure like this: you're already killing us. You're killing us. You're economically lynching us, and you playing in our faces. My daughter told me that.
I like that little saying.
Right.
But they all in your face like this.
She had something to say about the whole concert thingy, and they upset, like they playing in our face. What does twerking got to do with what they see going on? So when they think that our children are not paying attention,
so you saying when that woman who the women selected as a sophisticated so-called black woman brought the girl up there, they just think black women every black woman is into their booty shaking, and they brought that girl up there. They thought that was her. That to me was her way of saying, I'm relating to you Negroes. And you, especially you women, because that wasn't about black men. That was about all you little sisters out here we see shaking and twerking all the time. What demographics do they think our women, our brains are that low that they gonna equate that with voting?
Okay, so let's be very clear about this part of it, right? So with that being said, the whole showmanship or whatever, because I didn't watch it, right? So and I'm gonna say this again, because they have gotten away with so much of what they do, but now that right there, it backfired.
I think so.
It really did backfire.
I think it showed
I'm
who she
listening
really
to the
is.
young adults, like they're yeah, we ain't. So, but what we have to understand, whatever we listen to, even if we partake in, you know what I'm saying, raunchy music or whatever, that's after 5 o'clock. We own business.
Exactly.
We own business, and
right.
we want to hear And
right now, we on business. We want to hear policy, not booty shaking.
That's what I'm talking about. We want to hear policy. We want to hear economic growth. You know what I'm saying? Agendas for my people, not everybody else. And talking about what you can't do over here, but you did it for other ethnicities. Mm-hmm. And we want to be a protected class. It's a lot of things that we need to talk about. And we need to get to it right now. While everybody's pondering about what ethnicity a person is, we already know what it is. I don't care what picture they try to paint. We want to talk about these issues.
So look, we about to get ready to wrap it up, Tamiko, and I want to have you back. Every Tuesday and Thursday, y'all, we are here tuning in to ExCons4Trump. And we hope to have different speakers and different guests here to also convey how they feel about things, right? And somebody was trying to call and conveying how they feel it, right? And with that being said, I just want to be able to for you, Tamiko, to tell the public right now where they can find you, how they can even help, how can they contribute, what it is that they need to do in the next 2 minutes or so that we have.
I'm forming the 28th Ward Republican organization now, but we're in organizing mode. I'm looking for precinct captains. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for judges, Republican judges for the election. But not just about this election. It's about going further. It's about bringing more resources from a different side of the fence to Chicago for our people. And we don't understand. Chicago is ground zero. What they get away here with in Chicago, that they get past us, they take it all around the country to our people. And we can talk about that in our people in other spaces in these urban cities. True fact, I can break it down. I've seen it. I was on the public housing resident leadership team for over 10 years, and I visited other cities and met other resident leadership. And I know Chicago is ground zero. If we don't stop it here, or if we don't build it here, they can do whatever they want to. If we build it, they will come. I believe that.
I agree 110% with you. I agree 110%.
With that being said, this is ExCons4Trump on IntellectualRadio.com. We'll see you back here again on Thursday. I'm Tyrone Muhammad, Tamiko Holt, and Crow from the Coast. Thank you for tuning in.